You know what's messed up? I never knew either one of my mothers.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
Yeah.
Who says that?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, we're back. We're back in part 2. Breakdown of 2011 Taylor Lautner action flick.
Lottie.
Abduction. We left off. He's kind of figuring out that he was a missing child and he's been abducted or adopted, or his parents
Adopted.
aren't. His parents really aren't actually his parents, and we're like, oh, now what? What's going on? He's got his buddy Gilly involved, who's making fake IDs, being like, you don't have a million photos of yourself as a kid. You only have 2. I think that's where he left off. Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. Listeners, you're in luck because I feel like this is a rare one where we have left like most of the movie, or at least the interesting parts, to part 2. So
yeah,
you're in for a treat.
In for a treat. Get fired up. Grab some popcorn, sit down, put another log in the fire, and sit back and enjoy the ride.
That's right. Time to relax. Remember that? Like the intermission song in that Offspring album.
Oh, yeah.
Time to relax. Put another log on the fire and kick back with some easy listening.
I say, like, there's things I don't like on CDs or that bands do, and I don't like that shit. You know that the first,
I don't either.
You know the Red album. I forget what it's called. The Songs to the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age.
Yep.
And it's like supposed to be like a radio station you're jumping between. I hate all the in between stuff. I'm like, just play the songs. Just play the songs.
I agree. Unless you like, there's a few times I feel like where you can pull it off, and it's like good. Like, I don't know, like To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar album. Like they do like poetry in between some of it, and like I think it works pretty good.
I'm fine with that. I mean, that's not terrible. At least it's it's not something stupid, but.
Right. Yeah. Like little skits and stuff. Like unless it's like Eminem.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, maybe it's kind of funny. Maybe it's not. It was funny one time. Yeah. 25 years ago.
Oh anyway. My goodness. All right. So then where are we? We're in this movie. So we're heading home. He's riding his motorcycle. He pulls up right to the house, and Dad is yet again beating the shit out of something. And he is just like hammering on a lawnmower. That's not how that. What are you doing?
That's not how you fix a lawnmower.
That's how you get out of anger issues. So,
yeah, like door style, like wailing on this lawnmower.
Yeah, like would you have a bent blade? Just take it off and go get it replaced. It's not that actually hard.
You live in a fucking mansion.
It's like
you can buy a lawnmower blade.
You definitely could. Just buy a new lawnmower. How about you just pay someone to do your lawn for you?
Right. Why are you mowing your lawn, mansion guy?
Yeah. With a push mower. You ever seen how big your front yard is?
Grow up, Malfoy. You've got no problem with house elves.
So then like Lautner's like, or Nathan's like sneaking in. He's like, what, you too cool to say hi now? I'll come over there. I'll beat you right now. I thought he was going to say, but he doesn't.
Yeah. I will deck you if you don't say hi to
me. Nathan's like, hey. Yeah. And he just goes back to hammering. Son of a kid, God, son of a kid.
Teenagers is what he says.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Teenagers, hot, sexy teenagers
across the street. So then we're in Nathan's room, and he's hanging out, and Mom just comes in, right, and just sees the photos and like the missing person
and
thing,
the
baby shirt. It's like just sprawled out in the bed. Yeah, my mom.
He just looks at her. He's like, "Are you my mother?" She's like, "Where's this coming from?" Yeah. Except for instead of doing that, she's like, "You're my son. You just don't understand, baby. It's complicated.
Baby, it's complicated."
We did not try to hide it at all for a second. Like,
yeah. And she's like, you know what? He's like, tell me what's going on. And she's like, whoa, hold on there. Relax. Let me go get Kevin. He's part of this too. We should go to this whole thing, right?
Yeah. Her line again, like the script is just so awful. Her line is, Kevin's a part of this. I got to go. What?
Yeah.
It's like, don't judge her so quickly. You don't know. I love you. You're like, these don't make sense together as lines. Don't hate me. I'll get Dad.
And there's some tears. She goes to hug him. He's not having. He's like, but she's like, I still love you. Whatever. And then she exits stage, right? And then he just sits on the photos on the bed. And then
his phone rings,
and it's Karen, the hottie next door, and he's like, it's true. I'm adopted. And she's like, I'll be over in a minute.
Yeah. He's like, come in the back door.
I have.
Okay. What's happening?
So So we get a shot of mom crying downstairs, and then we get a little knock at the door.
Dad's still in the garage. We get a quick cut of him.
Him now like doing like metal work on something like, oh, goddamn hot kids.
Stupid lawnmower. Stupid sexy Flanders.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of this lawn when I'm done. And then we're downstairs, and then we get a scene from the trailer, right? We get the couple bad bros at the door, and they're like, "Hey, where were the adopted Justice Department, or whatever?" And mom's like, she's like, this isn't passing a sniff test. Oh yeah, the old AJD, right?
Yeah.
So then she goes to close the door. This is all from the trailer. You've seen this entire scene. So she goes to close the door, but they bust in, and then like they're kind of like, roughing her up, whatever, and they're going to put a gag or whatever, and she's just like, not having it, and turns on mom mode and just kicks ass. Like,
yep. So like throwing guys out the windows, like there's glass everywhere.
And then we get Nathan and Dad kind of hear something going on. Karen sees the guy get tossed outside the window. She goes to hide. Then mom gets shot.
Yep.
It's a long fight scene, but she gets shot.
They do a bad job of murdering these people too, in my opinion. Like they like shoot them in the stomach, and you're like, yeah, that's fine, but like they probably will die eventually.
It's gonna be a long, painful one, but they're
not
professional.
Like,
finish the job.
They die immediately, right?
Yeah, finish the job correctly. Like
so many opportunities to shoot the parents in the head. Instead, they're just like, one to the gut's probably fine.
It's fine.
We're to blow the house up anyway in a minute.
Like B squad hitmen.
Yes.
I don't get paid enough to do this correctly. So they're breaking in, and Nathan goes like sneak out his window, I think, right? Because he's not going to go down the front stairs. He's going to come back and around the front door or something like that, right? And then
exactly.
Then Dad shows up with a gun. He's coming through like the hallway.
He's like, wait a second, a calamity is happening in my house.
Yeah, let me go grab the gun. He grabs the gun and he's like going down the hallway, heading into the kitchen. And then this is weird because he can see the bad guy.
Yep.
And instead of just shooting him, he jumps over the counter and tackles him.
That's right.
He's right there to shoot him. Like you can see him, but he chooses peace. And he
does kill this guy.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, oh, maybe he's going to try and get information out of him or something. But no, they fight for a good 2-3 minutes, and then he just snaps his neck. I'm like, why did you just shoot him 2 minutes? Like efficiency here. Come on. Like
asinine.
Next time shoot first and then ask questions. And then the other dude, he's like looking for Nathan, right? So he's upstairs because there's two guys. One guy's now upstairs. He's like, I'm going to go look for the kid and blah, 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 right?
Yep. Exactly.
Dad
can't find him.
Yep, can't find him. Dad kills the other guy, whatever, and then he sees mom on the ground. He's like, "Oh no!"
Yep, and this is when from the trailer, Nathan is out the back door, or back. Well, it's now a door because the mom threw the guy out the window. So
that's what it is. Yeah, right.
Now it's an open window.
Now it's
and he's like, Nathan, get out of here.
Yeah, stop.
He's like, what?
Yeah, he's like, you got to stop and run. Just keep running. Don't stop.
And then he gets shot in the stomach
as well. Yes. And he's like, ooh. And then Nathan's like, oh no.
It's very much like James Bond video game style, or you get shot in the stomach. He's like, oh, and then like falls to his knees. Yeah. And you're like, wait, what? And then like the bad guy comes over and like pushes him over. You're like, so stupid.
Shoot him again in the head. Call it a day.
Yeah.
So then Nathan runs out. He grabs Karen and. Oh no! I'm sorry. The bad guy. I'm sorry. The bad guy goes out there. He goes out there and he grabs Karen.
Well, yeah. Nathan runs away and he's like booking it down the street, and then he's like, "Oh wait, right, Karen.
Oh right, Karen.
That thing I just told her to come over
and go into the back door. It's like you forget your keys. Ah shit.
Karen keys.
Ah, damn, I think I left my wallet back at the house. Ah, damn it. I'll catch up with you guys. I'll be right back. And in the meantime, the other guy that's alive, bad guy here, henchman number 1, he grabs Karen, he brings her inside, and he's got the gun to her head, right? He's like, don't worry, it won't hurt, whatever. And then Nathan
immediately
shows up.
Subdues her.
Yes, and then Nathan shows up and he just throws something at him.
Yeah.
Misses, but it distracts him. And then he kicks his ass. They just get into a fight. So the guy's down on the ground, right? And Karen facilitates the next moment. She goes over and grabs the fire poker, hands it to Nathan, and then goes and like stands by the corner while she watches him beat the crap out of this guy with a fire poker.
Yes.
It's like, this is a moment of like where maybe you could have her being a little more repulsed about his like anger issues where he's like doing this thing, right? But no,
she's like, go kill the younglings.
Yes. She's like, here's the weapon, the poker, right? And then this is hilarious. So he's like, who are you? Where do you work for? Right? And the guy's like, I'll tell you what you want to know, but there's a bomb in the oven.
He's like, I'm not dying here. There's a bomb in the oven. I'm like, since when? Like, when did they have time to do that?
I was like, what? And Karen rightfully says, what?
Yeah, I was kind of in my mind. I was like, no, there's not. I was like, good bluff by this guy.
I was like, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. You might as well just said, look, don't look behind you. Yeah. I was like, what a solid distraction tactic, though, right? If you're ever in a situation, be like, I gotta get out of this situation, guys. I think there's a bomb in the oven. I gotta go.
Which, I mean, this guy doesn't escape anyway.
No.
Like, he's still like laying on the ground in his own blood, and like Nathan and Karen walk over to the oven, and there's a bomb in the oven.
It actually was like,
it's got like 4 seconds left. You know,
like, oh shit,
you can't possibly escape that. Like,
well, there goes that.
Somehow they jump into the pool just in time.
I think actually, so they run out, and I think the explosion tosses them into the pool. It's one of those moments. But so we do get one exploding house. I think we were hoping for 2. I think we only get the one exploding house, which is kind of a bummer. So they're in the pool surviving this massive explosion. Stuff is falling into the pool, but they're okay. They get up, and I love how they get back.
Karen's got a shoulder wound.
Right.
I don't remember where.
Yeah, that's right. I do like how they got out of the pool, and the house is obviously just completely demolished. But I love how the camera starts on like the dish, like the TV dish. That's the only thing that survived.
Classic.
And then we get a good old fashioned night bike ride transition shot.
That's right. Sirens happen, and then they just motorcycle off into the evening.
And then we cut to the airport, and we got the main bad dude, right, coming to the U.S.
So. Scanning his documents.
Yeah, as you do.
They like lead you to believe for a second. They're like, "Oh, is he gonna get busted?" Of course not.
No, why, like you don't need this. Just have him.
Don't film it this way. Yeah.
Waste of time.
I love this. Cut back to Karen and Nathan, and he's like, God. How bad is it? She's like, I don't know. It hurts.
I'm taking you to a hospital.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So this is like, we gotta, so this next, I'm calling it one big scene, but we intercut between 3 different situations. We intercut between Nathan at the hospital. We're going to meet our CIA guys who are now coming in, and then the bad guys. Right. So we'll kind of jump back and forth. So they just, I love how he strolls into the hospital. He's like, we need a doctor. We need a doctor. I'm like, as we all know from Accidental Love, you can't do that. That's not.
Yeah. And it's not that bad. Like you're going to wait for probably 3 hours in the emergency room.
There's people with far more serious wounds than that who are still waiting. So
you are deprioritized.
Sit down, kid, and fill out the paperwork first.
This is Pittsburgh, baby. Like,
come on, grow up. So Nathan calls 911. And he's like, my parents got killed, la da da da.
Sorry. Well, right before that, we get a cut of the villain who's like peeling off his fingerprints. You're like, that's how he got through the airport. What? They don't fingerprint you at the airport. Like, so stupid.
2011 tech, I guess, right? 2011.
I guess so.
So then he calls 911, and there he's like, my parents got killed, blah blah blah. And they're like, hold on. He's like, what? You're making me hold?
They don't make you hold on 911.
No, and then in the background we get the newscast talking about this house that exploded, which was his house, and it's like, what happened was a gas leak, and residents were away, so no one was there.
There were no injuries.
All covered up. So, and then we meet Frank Burton, Alfred Molina's character from the CIA, and he's on the other line. He's like, you got to trust me. Nathan's like, well, trust's got to be earned.
He's like, Nathan, blah blah blah. And he's like, how did you know my name? And he's like, because we're the CIA, son.
That's not important.
He's like, are you okay? And he's like, I just saw my parents get murdered.
So I don't know, scale of 1 to 10. I don't know, probably go 4.
And then I love the Alfred Molina. He's like, all right, well, there's 2 men. They're gonna find you. One of them's wearing a red flannel shirt. Not help. That could be anyone. And what's the other guy wearing?
Why do we just give me one guy?
I don't know.
Give me the pair so I can be like, I can match them up.
But I do appreciate that the bad guys are listening to every phone conversation that the CIA has.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everyone's tapping everyone, right? And then we get Sigourney Weaver shows up with the balloons.
Yep, that's right.
And she's there to get Nathan, and she's like, yeah, they're already here. The guys that are coming for you, they're already here. And he's like, he's like, oh, I want to go get Karen. No, I can't just leave her here.
And she's like, okay, fine, but there's no time to explain anything. Cover your face from the cameras. Like, well, they know you're in the hospital. Like,
yeah, they already know you're there. Yeah. And also cover your face from the cameras doesn't matter because like your face gets exposed like 2 minutes later. Like, we know who that is. Like, what is going on? So then they run through the hospital. We got the bad guys chasing them through there. And there's like this, again, like weird camera angles and decisions. Like the shot where they're running towards the staircase is like a weird fisheye lens. Like we're in a Beastie Boys video all of a sudden. I'm like, why what is this? Why? And then it's just a garage scene from the trailer. Them running. She's like, I hate balloons. And then she covers up the camera, which doesn't matter because they still have her face. And the bad guys just missed them. They're like, gosh darn it, we just missed them as they take off. And then a second later, she's dropping the balloons in front of the camera and the CIA is like, oh, we got her. And they're like, oh yeah, that's Jerry.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's Jerry. Well, better say goodbye to your pension.
Yeah. It's Jerry from accounting.
I don't think you have the authority to do that.
Like, what level are you in this place here, Alfred Molina?
What's not even Alfred Molina that says that? It's like some rando dude who's just like, better say bye to her pension. Oh, that's the one thing we're thinking about in this situation.
There's actually a couple of moments of that where like some random person says something in the background, like, what? Why?
I love it in the CIA briefing. It's one of my favorites that they do that. We'll get there.
Coming soon. So then stuff from the trailer car ride, right? She's like, don't trust anyone. Safety tip. If anyone tells you not to trust anyone, don't trust them. But in this movie, actually, I guess you could trust Sigourney Weaver. But
yeah, apparently.
So we get a little exposition about what's going on. She's like, I'm a keeper. There's only 4 of us that know about you. It's me, Frank Burton, and the dead parents.
Yeah. And she's like, you got to get to Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah.
Here's an address. Here's a very specific address in Arlington, Virginia. And you're like, how?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
And she's like, don't trust Burton, but trust Martin Price. And there was another name she said. Rasmus. Yeah. Krasmus. Okay. That's a stupid name.
It is a stupid name. He's the guy with the flowers later.
Oh, right. So then she gives him like a bunch of information, like a ton of information. And it's just like, he's still like, what? What's going on? What's happening here? And then she's like, you got 15 seconds. You got all that? All right, you got 15 seconds and you got to jump out of the car.
Yeah. And this, again, she's got stupid, like, just a bad script. She's like, you've been looking for answers your whole life. You just didn't know what questions to ask.
There's lines that people write and they don't think about them. They're like, they think that just sounds cool. But do you,
no one would say that.
Yeah, no one would say that. And what are you actually saying here? Like, why would you say it like this? Like,
I don't know. Yeah. And then it's just like, you gotta leave the girl, you're better off alone. Like, just, you ready to jump?
Yeah. You have 10 seconds. Like, wait, what? That's a lot of things right now. A lot of information you just gave me. So then it's a kind of a hot mess of a pursuit here, because then she's like, all right, I'm gonna spin and then they're not gonna see me and then you gotta take off. I'm like, what is this plan?
I don't know.
So they do it. It's all from the trailer where they pop the doors open, they jump out, and she scoots off, and then they hide in the woods. Yep. And then they're like in the woods, and
the car explodes that Sigourney Weaver is in. She like drives through a construction site. They're like, "Whoa, lady! Hey, lady! You can't drive through here!" And then like the whole thing just like explodes. Like, what? How many construction workers died? Like, what do you?
Very Michael Bay. Just car's just gonna explode. Yeah. So then, oh my god! So then we're in the woods, and he's like, "Oh, we should get in the river so they can't track us." So they go swimming down the river. It's like,
okay,
all right.
They have helicopters.
Yeah. Like,
it's like the CIA.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? So they go running, whatever. And then we come back to Bert, and he's like, I want a confirmation. Damn it. If Nathan was in the car, the one that exploded. And then, so this whole time, so they get to like a riverbed, or they're just hanging out in a spot for a minute. And Karen's just like freezing. And then Nathan's like, I'll be right back. And he goes to like a trailer park or something and steals a bunch of blankets off of someone's porch. Like,
where is this?
I mean,
this is the van down by the river.
Oh, right. And he's just stealing stuff from already poor people. Great.
Matt Foley, like
down by the river. So then he steals these blankets and he comes back and like the shot is of her just like freezing and he's got one blanket like wrapped around him. Like he's like, hey,
and he's walking so slowly.
I was like, dude, don't be cool, be efficient. Like bring her the fucking blanket. Oh my god! Like she's like literally sitting there like shivering, freezing, and you're like you're rolling in like Ron Burgundy with a blanket. Hey, you looking for this? What are you doing? So then they get cozy in the woods, make themselves a little blanket fort.
Yep, under a tree and cuddle for warmth and then, yada.
Next day, rise and shine. And he was crying. He was crying in his sleep.
Well, he wakes up and the camera like zooms in on his face and he like sheds a single tear. What?
God damn it.
And then she turns around and she's like, "It's okay. You were crying in your sleep."
Like, that's not okay. Is that a problem?
And then he's like, "Well, I was dreaming about it." She's like, "I know. You don't have to say it."
But
what were we dreaming about? Your parents exploding or
the recurring dream you have? Yeah, the mom,
Yeah.
You see your actual mom die or your new parents dying or whatever traumatic thing that's happened to you in the last week.
And then she like strokes his cheek weirdly, and you're like, they haven't developed this relationship at all.
No.
Like this is
no.
I don't understand why
a little shoulder bump while you're looking at a missing child, kids website is not
playing It's This Meets That with missing kids.
Yeah, like I wouldn't call that a moment of like, hey man, do you feel some electricity here? Like, so then and then we get the line from the trailer. He's like, I should bring you home. I need to get you back. And she's like, I can't go home. Like my parents aren't there. And like, they're going to be after me anyways. And like, her parents are in Italy. Yeah. And he turns like the line from the trailer is like, suddenly everyone around me is dying. Like, okay.
Right. She's like, we're not safe anywhere. You know that. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll figure that out in a second. So then we cut to CIA and Langley.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So this is about the halfway point. And this whole scene basically, well, let's just cut through like the beef it here. So it's Frank.
Explain the plot exposition scene.
That's basically all this is. And it's a heavy dump of plot exposition, right? But it's wrapped in a nice briefing for the rest of the CIA crew here, and maybe the director of the CIA or something, whoever. There's a guy in the middle who's the most important guy.
Burton's boss,
Yeah, Burton's boss, basically. And we learned that what happened was there was a list of politicians and government agents and operatives that have stolen state secrets, and this list was stolen from Kozlow. He had it, and we learned Martin Price had gotten it.
Yeah, we learned he's Serbian.
Yep. And
for some reason.
It's like, Serbian national. I don't know. It's like, all right, I guess you have to have a little background. Yeah. He's a bad guy. Just
we have to explain his accent somehow.
Oh, right. And they're basically, he wants the list back. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And they use the phishing websites with missing kids, hoping to find this kid. You're like, how?
Yeah, like,
what a stupid plot.
Like, they're just banking on, like, you know what? He's going to have a sociology class with Steven Seagal's younger brother, and he's going to give him an assignment where he's got to go look up missing kids, or they're going to choose that's the thing they're going to write about, and then go like,
yeah. And then he's like, so then he explains the whole plot about how Nathan's biological father, Martin, is like this other black ops guy, and he's the one who has the list. And so Nathan is the key bargaining chip.
Yes.
And some guy in the back goes, how so? And he's like, well, glad you asked. Let me explain more.
All right, guy who's not even on the team, but sure, I'll answer that.
Nathan's the bargaining chip. How so?
It's like the janitor, like mopping the floor in the back. They go into talking about the details, like, oh, we found Sigourney Weaver's car and there was no one in it. And then we get a little side chat between once they, all right, thanks for briefing. Our Frank Burton and his boss is like, hey man, get this under control before it gets any mess here. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, these two are probably on the list or something, right? Like there's a more something's coming up further. So and then we get just like the stuff from the trailer. Frank's like, I want to track his friends, track where he took a shit, took everything he's been in contact with, and while they're saying this, they remind us who these characters are and all these people that he knows by flashing their faces on the screen. I'm like, why?
Right.
Why? We know, we just met them like 10 minutes ago. We know all of his friends. There's only 3 people he cares about right now.
Yeah. Well, so right before that, they do a quick cut to Nathan and Karen hitchhiking, and the truck and a truck pulls up, like an 18-wheeler like pulls up and like somehow stops for them, and they just yell at the guy on the front. They're like, "Can you take us to Virginia?" And you're, get in. I hate this movie so much. Apparently, they made it to the apartment in Virginia that they were supposed to be going to.
Yeah, it was like a safe house type thing, but it was Martin Price's place. So goes through all this stuff, finds a bunch of
gun and photos and money and keys and a phone. Everything's like neatly just on the desk.
Take this stuff if you need the plot to move along.
I thought like getting to Virginia was going to be part of the plot. Nope.
Nope.
Hitch a ride with a truck driver.
That's all you got to do. That's how you get to Virginia sometimes. And then Karen's like, I'm going to give my uncle a call. I'm like, that's not a good idea. Do you get like, I know you're high school kids, but like, come on.
You've had the plot explained to you 3 times.
Times, right? Don't trust anyone and don't use your phone. So she calls and we get Frank Burton there. He answers and he's like, you got to come in. Yeah, we'll find you. Blah, blah. He's like, we're going to find you. Meanwhile, the bad guys are also listening. So everyone's just like listening to this conversation happen.
And the Burton character, like, again, the script is just written stupid. Like, he's like yelling at them and he's like, you can't hide from us.
Yeah. Like,
for your own safety. Like, wait, you're making it seem like you're the bad guys. So dumb.
And then, so whatever that happens. And then they find the BMW scene from the trailer, which.
Well, he finds a bunch of clothes. They change. His leather jacket. Like everything fits perfectly, conveniently.
Obviously. So they find a BMW shot from the trailer, and then they pull out a BMW, peeling out of the house in this fancy looking BMW. I don't know if this is, I can't remember if this is a safety tip or not, but if you're running from the CIA and foreign bad guys, don't peel out. Don't peel out. And then he's like speeding on the highway, like, dude, don't get pulled over.
Yep. And they're going to the address that they got for Lorna Price.
Yeah. Yep.
And presumably is his mother. We're assuming. He's assuming also.
Yeah. And it's an odd address, but they show up and it's basically his mother's plot number.
She's just like, that's what a weird address. And he's like, it's her plot number. You're like, what? How did you know that?
Oh my God. So they're just hanging around for a bit and then they go into
the grave. Yeah,
the grave. And then
they find the grave and they're like, well, made it.
And there's flowers there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, it's messed up. Never knew either one of my mothers.
I kind of wish he like went over the top like that, like a Snake Plissken like kind of delivery of the lines there. You know what? You know what's messed up? I don't know. What? Yeah. What, Nathan? I never knew either one of my mothers.
Karen's like, maybe your dead mom's not a dead end after all. They find the flowers, right? And you're like, okay.
It's kind of a really insensitive thing to say. Maybe your dead mother isn't a dead end after all. So then we're inside the cemetery, like office space, whatever, front desk or something like that.
That's not how cemeteries work.
Yeah, and Karen's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. I'm the hottie from across the street. I got this. And she goes and talks to the front desk kid who's like,
your dad said I got hot. So
I'm going to go use that now. So she goes and flirts with the front desk kid and is like, we're just wondering who dropped the flowers off. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, yeah, you can. He's like, I can't. She's like, come on.
He's like,
all right.
Fine. He's like, looks like they came from Omaha, Nebraska. She's like, what? It's like a P. Rasmus.
Huh? Oh, what? Paul Rasmus. Yep. Oh, that Nathan. His dog ears perk up.
Yeah, and he's just like, "You got an address?
Can you?"
Let's move the plot along, I guess.
Yeah. Let's just say, let's get to the next thing, right? And then they're outside getting in the car. And he's like, we get to ditch this car. Like, oh, okay. So then we get a driving stuff transition shot. But bad guys following, right?
I was gonna say. Meanwhile, like the bad guys and the CIA are all like, they're at the cemetery. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Get in the car. Let's go. So then we pull into like a city plaza kind of space. And,
somewhere.
Somewhere. And they're meeting up with Gilly. And they get into Gilly's cool ass car.
No, this is not the one where they get in the car. This is the one where they get it. They're like meeting in the little.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. That's what. Sorry. I was trying to jump ahead there.
Yeah, he's like, here are the fake IDs.
That's right.
You were trying to jump ahead like 30 minutes.
I know. Shit, sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Yeah, that's right. So this is where he's picking up the fake IDs. That's actually the shot from the trailer too. Scene from the trailer. So
it's like, hey, sorry about your parents, bro. What? And then like they get the fake IDs and Karen like kisses him on the cheek. Like,
okay.
Why? Why is any of this happening?
I also love how well, I'm glad you brought your friend into this situation and got him even more stuff. It's like shit. He's like, they've been a bunch of people came over and asked me questions. It's like, now you got your friend making fake IDs for you, like a fugitive, quote unquote, on the run here.
Yeah, the CIA definitely won't ask about that later. Like, what?
And I love so Renee, also Gilly throws the throwaway line of Gilly being like, "Hey Karen, I went through all of your Facebook photos, all of them, and this is the one you look the best in."
Yeah. Well, then he's like, I could have used the one from the beach, and she's like, "Okay, thanks, Gilly." Yeah. We get it.
I mean, I sat on that one for a while, really thinking about it, but I went with another one.
We get it. I got hot. I know.
We all know.
Nathan's dad already told me.
Oh my god! And then we're catching a beautiful Amtrak train, right?
Quick cut of like the Serbian guy that's chasing them, like the henchman. He's arriving like next to them, and he's like, "Oh!" And like they do a bunch of weird, another like really weird shot choices of him, like just like looking creepy.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, with his he's the glasses guy, right?
Glasses guy, yeah.
Yeah, he gets beat up on the train. It's coming soon, so
he looks like a murderer.
Yeah, so then we were getting on onto the Amtrak train, which I don't think I've ever waited in like a security line like this. They don't check passes like that, unless maybe some areas. But I've been riding a train for 20 years, at least out of Boston, and you don't get on in one spot unless it's like they know like it's gonna be a really light train. Then sure, they force you down to like 2 cars, but like. You don't wait in line like that, and the guy checks your boarding passes before you get on.
There's no guy with a metal detector one. None of that stuff.
No, that's not a thing. So
that's part of the beauty of trains.
Yeah, right. And there's no seatbelts, so it's just that's what it is. But
that's right.
I guess you need stuff to build tension. And like, they're doing something, on the run.
Because they do try to make it tension without being tension. Like the security guy like makes weird face at Nathan, and Nathan's like, "Oh no!" And then like the Serbian guy is like watching in the background. And he's like, "Okay, fine."
Okay.
Cut back to the Amtrak ad.
Yeah. And they got a sweet overnight room there.
Yeah, which I did look it up. That is accurate. Apparently, it is like a 24-hour train ride from Pittsburgh to Omaha. That checks out.
And I do know they have the rooms like that, but I don't know about the cafeteria situation. That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah,
that one
questionable.
Yeah, but I do know. Yeah, I mean the train rides take forever. It takes like 15 hours to get from here to Pittsburgh. I know that it takes a long time.
Why would you take a train from here to Pittsburgh?
Well, I was young, I was stupid, but I did.
Makes sense.
And I knew they've got like those overnight cars, like rooms and stuff like that. But
totally.
But yeah, anyway, so then they're in this room and they're like share like an old memory. Right?
Yeah. Karen's like, remember that summer when we skipped the canoe trip? And he's like,
do I?
No, that would make more sense. He's just like, kind of. And then she's like, why'd you never ask me out after that? And he's like, I don't know. I thought summer was summer.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. And then she's like, are we going to die, Nathan?
And then I love.
Yeah. No.
It's like that scene from like the World Police movie. It's like, promise me you'll never die. I promise I will never die. Can we sleep together now?
Yeah.
I'm not going to let that happen. Then he kisses her.
Like, and she's like, wow, that's better than middle school.
This is so
gross.
These next few, this whole scene and lines are so cringy. That was better than middle school. That's because I know what I'm doing now.
Ew. And then she goes, and no braces either. And then like they're getting like hot and heavy makeout session here, and Karen's like, I should go get us food.
And then we get the old the ass grab, like the recreation of dad to mom. I was like, that's weird. Why would you make that connection? Let's not do that.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Yeah. Karen's like, don't worry. When I come back from getting food, I'll knock twice. That's how you know it's me. You're like, there's a window. You can see it's you. You don't know that the Serbian guy is on the train with you yet.
Yes, you don't. Oh my god. So then the bad guy
speaking of,
so he does a quick call into the boss, right? And the boss is like, we'll see the next train
I'm
stop.
On a train.
Cincinnati or something like that. And he's like,
yeah.
See you at the next stop.
I'm on a train.
I'm on a train, motherfucker.
What is this movie? Who wrote this?
So then we're in the. So then we get to the train cafeteria, the one where John Singleton is hanging out in as well. I've never seen a cafeteria like this before in a train, but maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's a thing for these 24-hour ones. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever been on a long haul train.
Anyway, so she's getting food. She's coming back, and then our Serbian
the gangster's watching them.
Yeah. Like and he snags her and pulls her into a room and like just smacks the shit out of her. I was like, oh, okay.
Sucker punches her. It's awesome.
Like just right across. I was like, oh, Jesus.
She's on the floor, like rubbing her jaw. She's like, ow.
Yeah, and he gives her a kick and then he puts a gun to her face and he's like, where is it? Where's the room? Whatever. And then he pulls out the old classic Eastern European finger cutter. Oof.
It's like he puts a gun in her face and then he puts her finger in a cigar cutter. And you're like, what?
Which one?
You don't need both. Pick one. I guess meanwhile, they cut to Nathan. He's like checking his watch, like he's like Sonic the Hedgehog, like tapping his foot, like when he.
Oh my God! So then he cuts out. So Nathan goes for a walk to go look for her in the cafeteria, right? And then we cut back to Karen. She's like all duct tape tied up to one of the rooms. And Nathan spots a bad guy. This sequence was kind of funny too. He spots the bad guy, goes back and goes into the room and closes the door, right? Or something like that. It was like such a goofy thing. And then he comes out, and then the bad guy comes back. Like the bad guy walked past and like jumps back at him. It's like, what is this?
And so like he shuts the door, and the guy like catches it, and so he like smashes the henchman's door in the finger, like his fingers in the door, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, now his hand's kind of mangled, probably, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because then they have a fist fight for 5 minutes.
Yep, good old fashioned fisticuffs for 5 minutes. And then there was like he gets his face smashed against the glass, which was like definitely CG glass for some reason. Like
I was like, train windows are also like, I think pretty well reinforced. Like,
yes.
like it shouldn't spider out like that.
And if it does, you're dead.
Yeah, definitely.
If there's that much force happening with your head hitting that window, like
your brain is mush. Yeah.
Totally. So then Nathan's getting his ass kicked. He's getting strangled, right? And then we cut back to, the flashback of the training of his dad. Like, don't lose control, And then
use your anger.
Yes,
let the hate flow through you.
So it was abusive adoptive dad's voice telling him to kick ass. Yeah. Oh my God. And then he's like, so he gets all fired up and gets in control, and he tosses the guy out the window. He kicks open the window that was, just shattered, throws the guy out the window. And then for some reason they show the guy like flying.
It was so funny. It was like in anyone who ever used to watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they would throw Jazz out the window, out the front door. It was like that. It was like, ah!
Oh my God, so funny. And then it looks so dope.
Karen watches this. She shows up behind him and like watches him toss him out the window. And instead of being mortified, she's just like,
yes,
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, let the hate flow through you. Yeah,
she's actually Palpatine here, and she's like, yes, fire poker, yes, window. Meanwhile, when it's just so you know, Karen got out because she knocked over a glass and like was able to cut free. That was a whole scene that went back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And then I love how they're sitting there. So the scene's over, right? And they're sitting there like holding each other, whatever. And he looks down like all serious. I was laughing at this. He looks down, and the camera pans down to the guy's glasses, and he just steps on him.
Yes. So unnecessary.
It's like
he's not getting that guy's dead. We're probably close to it. He's not getting back on the train.
Well, just in case, now he can't see. So
as a glasses man yourself, insult to injury.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, you wouldn't punch a guy with glasses now, would you? You wouldn't step on a dead guy's glasses now, would you? Oh, he did? What a dick.
Oh. And then the train stops because you can't throw people out of a train without someone noticing.
Right.
Like the conductor's probably like, oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to lose my job. Yeah. So they hop off.
Just got Jazzy Jeff tossed.
So they hop off and then just start running. We got Burton up in a helicopter right overhead, kind of looking on him. Yeah. So they're at the scene of the accident of the guy who is dead now and blind. Did he use the F-bomb here? Did he say he really is Martin's fucking kid? I thought that's what the line was.
No, I think he just said he really is Martin's kid.
Oh, I thought he said F. I was like, did he really just use the one F-bomb? I mean, whatever, PG-13, but
yeah, maybe. Did you end up watching it on Amazon or on Hulu?
Amazon.
Okay, same.
Okay.
I was wondering maybe there's a difference between the two. But,
maybe a different edit for the Hulu. Maybe.
I don't know. But I heard he really is Martin's kid.
Yeah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, they can't have gotten that far on foot. Find them.
Yeah. And we cut to like Nathan, and he's like remembering his abusive dad and thinking like, oh, it was actually training. I'm like, that's what they want.
Moment.
That's what abusive people want you to think it is.
All that time.
I'm toughing you up, son, for the real world. Like that's not not how. That's not training.
This isn't anyone's real world. Yeah.
Because if it was training, he'd be like, I'm training you, not beating the shit out of you for the just the sake of it.
Yeah. And Karen's like, it feels like a lifetime ago. We were just high school students. And Nathan's like, it was.
You still are. You still are.
Yeah. So they hold hands because of course they do.
Of course. Yeah. Hold hands are in the woods. And then it just cuts them like walking on the side of the street.
Yeah.
And then like the CIA cars like pull up and like stop. And then what?
They chase them for like 1 second. Like they like try to like scramble up a hill. Obviously they can't climb up a hill that fast. And Burton's like, whoa, hey guy. Like we're not pulling guns on you.
Yeah.
You're safe now. Kind of,
sort of. No one's pointing a gun at you. And everyone's like, all right.
And then I love this scene because he's just like, what's my real name? And he's like, it's Steven. And he's like, no, it's not. Your mom and dad argued about it. Your name's actually Nathan. Steven's your middle name. Yeah. I was at the hospital when you were born. He's like, what? And he's like, you kids are probably hungry, right? Let me buy you a burger and a milkshake. And you're like,
want a burger and a shake? You haven't eaten in hours.
1954?
Yeah. What's happening? All right. So they're at the diner and so they eat and we got the CIA bros like purposely showing us how many CIA guys are out there. We got guys on the roof. We got guys in the streets with guns, armed heavily. We got Burton. We got Burton's sidekick in there, and then we got the two of them. And just a bunch of questions and plot exposition happens here, right? We learn more about his parents and why they ditched Nathan. And then meanwhile, more CIA guys are like now slowly being taken out. Guys on the roof are being taken out. Guys on the ground.
Yep. Burton explains who Kozlo is.
Yep. We get that.
Tells them all about it.
Yep. Tells them about the list. Right.
Yep.
And how war is about information, data. That's what's important to war now. Blah blah blah.
And this is another one with like really weird camera shots. Like while the exposition's happening, they like go outside of the diner and like show them from the window, which like, from above, which are like, why? Like they're talking. Like just go back in and like let's get them talking. And then when it does come back in when they're still talking, it's like at table level. At the booth, like, did you?
Yeah. It
just like looking up at, I don't know. It's so don't film it this way.
Yeah. There's a moment where like, you know what, just watch watch the first Mission Impossible movie or watch a movie that's good and see what they do when they're like trying to build these tension moments or like give information because the way they do it is good.
Yeah, I like to think John Singleton was like, we can't just have straight shots. Like just move the camera around a bunch. Like get weird things, and we'll just cut it in later. Yeah.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. And so like Burton explains about his dad, and he's like, your dad is like this psycho black ops guy, and like he was in no condition to raise a child.
Yeah.
Like he had to go do Martin stuff, and he's like, Martin stuff? What does that mean?
Yeah. And then meanwhile, they're still getting picked off. Like the CIA guys, outsiders, still getting picked off.
They're one by one.
Not very good at their jobs. And just more exposition about the list, the MacGuffin here, and Nathan flips open the phone he had for some, I don't know why he would do that. He flips it open under the table. He can't see it. And we get a shot of like the list, encrypted list.
Yeah. Well, this is the second time we see the encrypted list. We saw it back in Martin's apartment too, but
just to remind you,
still stupid.
Just to remind you, the audience, he still has this thing.
Oh, that's the list. Yeah. Because we didn't know what it was back then.
And then Nathan's like, Frank, Bubby, you're on that list, aren't you, baby?
Yeah.
Oh, children, you have such imaginative minds.
Then there's more CIA guys getting picked off one by one still
going.
And finally the guy out front of the diner is like, he's like, wait a second, and starts run towards the building, and he's like, no, you guys, like, look out, and then he gets shot. And then the window smashes, and it's like
gunfire. Nathan sneaks out. Oh, Karen was getting patched up by the other CIA agent. We didn't mention that. She was getting patched up, but so that doesn't matter. So Nathan and Karen take off out of there. But then, like, I love this scene where, like, the bad guys, like, come into the diner.
Well, Burton like gives this other guy a nod. And he's like, "Should we do it?" She's like, "Yeah, let's do it." The bad guys walk in.
I can't. It's too funny.
They're just like Burton's like sitting on the floor, like next to the booth, and he's just like, like looks like playing dead.
Playing dead. The old playing dead. Got him.
Oh, play dead. Yeah, and then like looks up and like shoots the guy. Why?
The old this will either work or fail miserably. Let's do the old playing dead trick. Got him.
So dumb.
Oh my god. So then we do plot exposition to car ride, right? We're in plot exposition to Karen, I think, at this point, right?
Yep. Burton chases after them. He's like, "Nathan, come back."
Oh man. And he's had the list. Yeah, he's like, "I've had the list all along on my phone," right? And he's like, "Oh, Dr. Bennett, Sigourney Weaver is right not to trust Frank." Bad guy calls him Kozlov.
I love this. Yeah.
Because he took one of the other guys' like phones, right?
The Serbian guy that he threw out the train window.
He had his phone. Yeah. It's his phone.
Yeah, and the bad guy is like Kozlo. He's like, "Hey, by the way, phones are also listening devices." Like, I heard everything you just said. Give me the list. He's like, "I'm gonna kill all your Facebook friends if you don't give me the list."
Fine,
and also Karen's parents.
Do it. I need a refresh. Go for it.
Yeah. He's like, "I'll kill all your Facebook friends, and also Karen's parents are getting off Air Italia flight." Whatever, 492 at 4:20 tomorrow. PM.
You guys can have a conversation about dead parents because you know what that's like, right, Nathan?
Don't you know what it's like to have dead parents now?
Don't you? Twice?
I'll give you a time and a place. And he's like, no. Nathan's like, "I'm in charge here. I'll give you a time and place.
Because I've got a plan cooking in my head."
Somehow works, apparently.
Which, by the way, don't drive and phone. Hands-free. Come on. Get Bluetooth. Let's set it up. Come on. Be safe.
That's right.
A lot of just general rule, common sense safety in this movie is just thrown aside. No helmets, sitting on the hood of a truck, drunk, phoning while driving.
It's ridiculous.
Going to a Pirates game.
Yeah, unsafe. Everything unsafe.
So then we flash back to the bad guys' HQ where all the bros are just sleeping.
Yeah, like all the Serbian guys are just like sitting around taking naps in chairs. And you're like, what? And then some alarm like beeps. Yeah. He's like, "The computer's beeping." The CIA found us.
They backtrack our signal, and then a SWAT team rolls in and just wipes them all out. Like,
wipes them all. Like, that's not how any of this would work either.
Need that list.
Yeah.
So then this is where we get to the end.
Well, the quick cuts to Burton, and he's like, "Too bad there weren't more of them in there for you to murder." Wait, what?
Like, all right.
And that's when he finds out that Nathan has the list and is going to give it to Kozlo. And he's like, "God, we can't let that happen."
Right. So this is where we go to the under highway passing. We meet Gilly again in this sweet car.
In this his old lady's car that he stole. It's like, "Oh, it smells like old people. Gross."
And I love how like over the top this is. So he's wearing his pirate's hat and he gives him a duffel bag and Nathan's like, "Did you do what I asked?" He's like, "Yeah, I did what you asked, man. I did it. Don't worry about it." Right. Yeah. And then Nathan has some plan, but we're not sure of it totally yet. Right. And Gilly's like very visibly gives him like the VIP Pirates tickets. So do you remember those from the beginning of the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the payoff. So then Karen's like,
"I wish there was another way."
Yeah, no one wants to go to a Pirates game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I wish there was another way. We didn't have to go to the Pirates game.
Oh my god! And they're playing the Mets too. Oh my god! And then Nathan's like,
"Oh yeah, VIP tickets to the Pirates Mets game. Like those cost $5.
No, they pay you. They give you like free food at that point.
They give you a Clemente jersey.
You get to play third base."
Yeah.
Oh my god! So then we got to the PNC. We're getting close. We're getting close to the end here. So we're gonna get to the PNC
still
park.
20 minutes somehow.
I know. And then we get to the PNC park transition shot. Beautiful ballpark though. And just a wide shot that takes like a good 2 minutes. And we get the CIA stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Getting an update from the boss man, and he's like, "Oh, we haven't found him yet, so you don't have it under control. Get it under control." All right. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're at PNC Park. Here we go. Fire it up.
Yeah. Also, question here. Me not, being a very, very casual baseball fan, and I know you actually like baseball.
Yeah.
Wearing a Roberto Clemente jersey.
Yeah.
Like, that's like wearing like a Babe Ruth jersey to a Sox game, right? Like,
or Ted
why
Williams,
are you wearing
or
this like super old, like?
Yeah, I'm really wearing a Ted Williams one. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
I think. Well, probably in Pittsburgh.
I guess Roberto Clemente is the only Pirates player anyone knows.
I mean, and he's got a statue out front, So I mean,
sure.
So Maybe that's probably why, but yeah.
Like, people don't do that. Like, you wear like recent players.
Yeah, it's true though. No, most times you're going to just see, recent, like within like the last maybe 10 years, the people who go, oh, I got the Pedroia jersey still, or I got the Ortiz jersey, but
totally reasonable.
You can quickly age those people and be like, oh yeah, okay, yes. I know where you're from.
Right. Anyway, I just wanted to call that out because I was like, are they just doing this because this is the only Pirates player anyone knows? Yes.
Yeah. Pretty much. So there's like, so they get a shot of him just standing there, and then there was a weird shot of like the Clemente like statue like cleats his foot at first. I was like, why are they doing this? And I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna pay off.
Come back in a second.
It'll pay off in a second. So he goes into the park and he gets a phone call, and it's dad, real dad, it's Martin Price.
Maddie.
So he's like, hey son, you got to leave the park. You've done more than most agents could, but Kozlo is you can't get that list. You got to go. I was like, this is weird. This whole scene is weird. Conversation.
And Nathan fires back, and he's like, he won't kill me if I kill him first. Wow.
Jesus.
I guess you have murdered at least a couple people today.
At this point, and you're still in high school.
18-year-old.
Yeah, still in high school. So then Nathan calls Kozlo, and then he's like, here's where your ticket is. Oh, he put his ticket on the foot of the statue. Okay.
Yeah, which...
okay.
Sure.
Just leave it at will call. Like, why does it have to be...
Yeah. I don't know. And then... So Karen's like taking sneaky pictures of Kozlo retrieving it, so that way she can text it to Nathan so that he knows what to look for.
Yeah, right, because he doesn't know what he looks like. Right. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Kozlo gets in the park, whatever, and he heads in. Karen heads the car with a tech bro, so that kind of like writes them off. So okay, they're safe in the car, so we don't have to worry about them.
He's like, how's it going? She's like,
bro, Gilly,
fingers crossed.
like he might be dead. He might die. Like,
be helpful.
Like, fingers crossed. And then ballpark stuff. Kozlo is eating popcorn. Nathan walking around. And then this was funny too. So then they spot each other as they're like heading to their seats, and like they're on the opposite ends of the aisle. Yeah. And I love the shot of them going to their seats, and the people in the background are like, hey, watch out, jerk. And he's like, get up, move, get up. Like,
hey, watch it, asshole.
I'll tell you right now, no one in Pittsburgh's doing that to you. Boston, New York, probably. Or Philadelphia, sure. They'll probably throw something at you. But Pittsburgh, no one's doing that. Everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry.
And meanwhile, like, the CIA doesn't know they're here. Like, basically, like, Burton's like, have you found them yet? And some woman's like, no.
Like, what?
Okay.
Yeah, and so then...
Why not?
Okay, so then Nathan's like, so they sit down next to each other, and Kozlo's eating his popcorn. He's enjoying. He's like, I don't understand this game at all. I was like, most people don't,
but I love popcorn.
And then Nathan reaches under his seat, and there's a gun taped under there, like a holster for
in a cup. They like use a cup as a gun holster, like that's duct taped to the bottom of the seat. Which,
what is your plan? And what is your plan with this gun in a ballpark? And
I think he's going to blow him away, like in the ballpark.
I have like,
kind of the plan.
Like Grand Slam. I have so many questions. Like, one, how did you get this in here?
Yep.
Two,
that's a big one.
I think that's a big one. But I'll put that aside for the moment.
Yeah. You've been to PNC Park also. Are they folding chairs? Like, do they fold up when? Like, would someone have seen this tape to the bottom?
Yeah. I don't think they're static. Like there's. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, they definitely fold up. They all do. So someone was seeing it sitting there. And then what's your plan? So you're going to pull a gun on him in public with probably a few thousand people?
Yeah, there's at least 20 people at the Pirates game.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all sitting in one section.
Right.
It's so many questions. And then it was like, then you're going to shoot him or what? Bring him outside and bring him to justice?
And so basically Kozlo's like, give me the list. And Nathan's like, I want reassurances. Like, how do I know you won't just kill me after I get the list? And he's like, you don't.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll tell you about your real parents if you want to know the truth, but I don't think you're ready about it. And you're like, wait, what? Like, why are you offering this? What is the sequence here? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so then he does a bunch of exposition about Martin, and he's like, your dad's a bad man. Like, he's one of those guys who like, he's got authority to break the Geneva Convention. You're like, that's not what you think it is.
War crimes, baby, war crimes.
Like, it's not something that applies to
whatever.
it's
It's not.
we'll gloss over that, I guess.
You throw out keywords people kind of know.
Yeah. And then it's revealed that Kozlo killed his real mom and his fake mom.
And we go to the... And then we cut to like they flash back to the scene of his mom getting killed, right?
He's like, "Don't you remember, boy?
You were underneath the bed, and then there was gas in there. You took the mask, and that's how he survived." But
I made one mistake. I forgot to check under the bed.
Classic move. Whoops! Always check under the bed. Always check under the bed.
Yeah. So like, meanwhile, Nathan's like reaching his hand under this whole exposition, like touching the gun and being like getting ready for it, and then like, kind of out of nowhere, like the gun's gone.
Yeah.
and Kozlo has it.
I was like, is Kozlo fucking David Blaine? Like,
yeah.
Is this your card? Hey, open up the bullets and take the bullet out. Now crack open the bullet casing and look inside. What do you see? What is in there? Wow, that's my card.
Like, it's my picture. Yeah.
It's his picture. It's my picture with my stained shirt. His shirt's in there. Whoa. Yeah. Open up your leather jacket. What shirt are you wearing? Oh, it's Roberto Clemente. Oh no, it's the shirt from when I was a kid.
I just mind freaked you.
So Kozlo's got the gun on him very visibly in public. Like, anyone would be like, what are you doing? Like, you can see people sitting next to you doing weird shit. I also love how in the middle of it, like, they all stood up and like the fans were cheering, and Kozlo's like, why is everyone cheering right now? Oh, that's when he grabbed the gun. That was the sleight of hand.
I mean, yes, but
come on. Like, you couldn't feel him reaching underneath your seat? Like, God damn it. Logic. Just think it through a little bit.
So then they both start running. This is when the chase starts. And like, now the CIA is like, oh, there they are. It's those sketchy guys running.
Yeah.
through the stadium.
God damn, standing out like a moron. Yeah. And then we get another call from Dad, Martin, right?
Yep.
And he's like, all right, son, just lead him outside and trust me because I'm here, son.
The South parking lot.
South parking lot.
He's like, what? Okay, Dad.
All right. So more parkour in the park, right? We got him jumping around, doing the things, all his own stunts. Apparently, he's
jumping, sliding,
just doing things, and he's like, he's chasing each other around the main concourse going down, and he's like, I gotta get down faster. So he jumps on this like glass ceiling thing and slides down it, and he gets to the end, and he's like, mangles his leg at the end. I was like, oh, he's all banged up.
So then he's like hobble running at this point.
Yeah.
And he gets out to the parking lot.
Yep.
And Kozlo's just like, stop, I'll shoot you.
Yeah.
And all these bystanders are like, oh my God,
he's like, you're good. You're not as good as your father. And then I love how he says, like, you sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Like, he gets his like daddy voice in his head too again, where he's like, just get him outside. Like, I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it. And then before, like, if the phone rings, right? His phone rings, or doesn't we have someone get a phone call here? I forget what happens at this point.
No, there's no phone call. This is just when he's like, you sure about that? It's because the daddy voice is in his head. That's like, I think it's the phone call. And then Kozlo just goes, Martin, and like notices, like he like sees a little
the sniper
in a parking garage, like 5 blocks away. Yeah,
that's right.
And then Martin just snipes him from the parking garage, and he's dead immediately.
Boom, done.
Like, well, that was easy.
That was easy.
Way to erase the whole movie. Basically.
Yep. And then that's right. Then we get that's when like Frank shows up, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he's like, all right, good work, boy. Like, I'll just take the phone now. And he's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's funny because like Frank and the boys here, they just show up, and the dudes in sunglasses just show up out of nowhere and like, hey, what's up? Like, wait, what?
They roll an SUV up next to Kozlo's body and just like stuff it in the back.
It's like,
what?
Oh my God! So then everyone's here. We got it's a Scooby-Doo ending, right? Everyone shows up. We got the big boss man shows up, and he's like, Frank, you're all done, right? And
yeah, he's like, actually, I'm gonna take that list because I know you're on it.
yeah, because he was like, Frank was like, oh, I'll decrypt it for you, sir. I'll have it on your desk. The thing is like, it's funny. Martin told me you'd say that because you're on that list.
Yeah.
So,
but also, there's basically no consequences. Like, you would think that's when he's like puts like Burton in handcuffs or something, and instead they're just like, all right, Burton, like, come on, you got a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, you're not getting your pension,
Lucy. You got some explaining to do.
Just what?
Yeah. Nope.
So strange. And then and then Frank gets a phone call, right?
And right before that, Burton's boss is like, hey, Nathan, like, let this kid go. He's family. Sorry for everything, by the way. All sets of your dead parents. And he's like, thanks, man.
Thanks.
And then that's when Martin calls Burton. Yeah. And he's like, hey, asshole, give the phone to my kid. What?
just really rubbing it in there at the end. And then this is that they chat on the phone, and he's like, I want to see you. And like, Dad's like, nah, first he's like, you're all good with the agency, blah, 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 straighten that out. Yeah. And he's like,
you and Karen won't have to worry anymore. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. That solves that problem. And then literally Dad's like 100 feet away by like, just outside the park, like watching him and talking to him. And he's like, oh, but I want to see you, Dad. I want to see you. And he's like, I may be your father, but I'm not your dad. I haven't earned that.
Well, because Nathan's like Martin, like, I have to meet you, Dad. And then it cuts to you see like the lip star there, and he's like trembles his lip a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I'm your father, but I'll never be your dad. I lost that chance a long time ago.
It's fair.
Like, you'll be all right though, kid.
You'll be all right. You've been all right. You'll be okay.
Goodbye.
And then he spots him, and he sees him, and then people walk in front of him, and he just disappears like a ghost. Like he just walked into the cornfield. See ya. I'll always be here. What is going on? Mm-hmm. And then Karen shows up.
Yep.
Wrapping everything up. She shows up, they hug, and then Sigourney Weaver, she shows up, and she's like, oh, call me Jerry. Yeah, she's like, you can call me Jerry. And then for your own protection, she's like,
so how you doing with all this? Are you okay? And he's like, not really.
Oh, my ankle hurts. All my parents are dead. My father doesn't love me. He just left me. He just ghosted me.
Yeah, he's like, where do we go from here? And she's like, well, we'll make you some arrangements for a new home. Why don't you just come live with me till you finish high school?
And then you'll be off to college, and you'll be doing things, and da da da. Like, what?
And he just goes, sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, dokie. Should we get out of here? And he's like, not quite yet. There's a Pirates game we need to see them lose.
Yeah.
So then they're back. We cut to back in PNC Park, and it's completely empty. And Karen and Nathan are sitting there hanging out, having a chat. And he's like, oh, sorry, missed the game. All right. Two things here. One, you're not getting, the game's over. You can't get back in. Like, you're not getting back in.
I guess if you can get a gun in the park, you can get back into it.
Yeah, that's true, right? And then two, like a gun, someone was shot, and one guy pulled a gun out, and there was a million people who saw it and went running. 911 was called. Like, the game probably would have been postponed. Like, it shut down. Like there's no way.
So many consequences.
So anyway,
she's like, that's okay. You can take me to another game sometime. He's like, it's a date. But it won't be like 8th grade. I wasn't ready for you yet back then.
I wasn't ready for you.
And then I loved it. I wish they just ended it on this line. I mean, they did.
No, they did.
He's like, you got to admit, though, there was one pretty exciting first date. And she goes, definitely.
The end. They kiss. They walk down the street. The end. Roll credits.
You got to admit.
I will give him one thing.
Exciting.
I love how like they're walking like through the parking lot, and he still has the limp. I was like, all right, at least you remember that.
God, I hate this movie.
Oh my goodness. Roll the credits, and that's it. All right. So that's it. That's the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Jared and Russ ameliorate real quick.
Yep. I don't think you could fix this one.
I think you gotta, I don't think you can, but I think if you're gonna, you gotta lean all in on the cheese. Like, cause it's cheesy. Yep. It's a cheesy movie. It's like a cheesy action, like lean into the action cheese. Like, just
like
do
it.
Like
that last one we did with Gal Gadot there. Like,
Heart of Stone.
Do more of that. Yeah.
Lean into like the ridiculousness of this plot and everything else. Like, cause then it's like, okay, we can go for the ride here, but don't take yourself seriously.
Give him like an Agent Cody Banks thing. Like make him work for the CIA at the end. They're like, we could use like a man like you in in the CIA, and like make him be a child CIA guy or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah. I mean, and what else? I don't know. Like, just get a better actor to lead. Man, Taylor Lautner is not.
It starts there.
It starts there. It definitely starts there.
Lily Collins did fine, I think, with what she was given.
Yeah. And Alfred Molina did fine with what he had. Sigourney Weaver, I think, kind of mailed it in, but she just, it's
not bad.
No.
The only bad performance was Taylor Lautner.
Yes. Just like a cardboard box, like trying to talk. It's like, oh my God.
Like even like Kozlov wasn't a bad character either. Like I want, that's how you fix this. I think maybe give me more Kozlov. Like I want to know about this guy's exploits and like, or like give me more Martin too. Like he had I feel like his line delivery was kind of crappy too.
It was definitely phone calls. Dermot Mulroney mailing in.
Yeah.
Come on, but also minutes.
This guy sounds interesting. Give me that guy's backstory, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Show me some scenes of like him committing war crimes or something. Like,
well, also make sure like all your things connect here. Like maybe lean into Nathan's like anger issues and stuff like that a bit more. Like I think they tried to, but they didn't. They didn't. Make it like he's scary. Like
yes.
Lean into that and don't just like make a mention of it as like something that he might use later on to like get out of a situation. Like, you don't want to see me when I'm angry. And it's like, all right, like it's stupid.
I don't care about this. Yeah.
I don't care one bit. And better dialogue. Don't write lines that sound cool. Write lines that make sense.
Write lines that people would say.
Yeah. You want to drink like a man? You can fight like a man. There was the one you said from Trailer Trash. You sure you want to tangle with the horns and let the box get open?
You want to play with no rules? You better be careful what you let out of the box. What? And give me more train. Give me more Amtrak.
Yeah, more train. You know what? Make this Under Siege 2. Let's get on the train, right?
Yeah, great.
Make it Mission Impossible 1. There always ends up on a train. Bad guys on a train.
Sure. I love a good bad guy on a train.
Yeah. Just do it
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
a lot of train stuff.
A ballpark makes no sense. There was another movie. This is, by the way, our second movie we've done. PNC Park, Pittsburgh Pirates might be friend of the pod.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I just remembered this. The Jason Momoa movie we did so long ago, the Netflix one.
Oh, yeah.
That had that big action scene that took place in Pittsburgh. And,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. What was that movie called?
Oh, I don't know.
Something Girl. Missing Girl or something.
It was like a knockoff Liam Neeson kind of movie. Like a Taken, but not Taken. It was like Found.
Found Girl or something. Sweet Girl. That's right. 2021. Yeah. So that one also took place in Pittsburgh, and they had a big set piece in PNC Park. So
yeah, great call. Friend of the pod, PNC Park.
Actual stadium is in front of it. Give us some free tickets, although they're like dirt cheap. We could just go and whatever.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I've already gone once. It's fine.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh, you're a fine city, but I'm all set.
Yeah, friend of the pod, Pittsburgh.
I think so. I think the entire city.
Listeners, if you're in Pittsburgh,
let us know.
Let us know. Have you been to PNC Park? Have you ever snuck a gun in?
Don't tell us. I don't want to know that. I do not want to know. PNC Park
the crimes you've committed.
Yes, yeah. PNC Park security. You maybe want to up your game. All right, I think that's it. We're done. I think we're closing this one out.
Wrap it up.
All right, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram. It's This Meets That, ITMT Pod on Twitter. Wherever you listen, subscribe, YouTube, or share with a friend.
Or share with strangers. Write a review. That helps us out a lot. If you leave 5 stars, maybe a nice comment, that would be nice. We'd appreciate it. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. Or if you want to send us an email and tell us about all the crimes you've committed at PNC Park, it's thismeetsthat@gmail.com. Or you can go to the website. So many things you can do. Buy a t-shirt on our website. We've got links out to all kinds of places, episodes, information about me and Russ, some of the ITMT characters that haven't made an appearance in a while.
I forgot about those, huh?
Yeah.
Been a tough 2023.
It's thismeetsthat.com. Check it out. Yeah, we'll do better next year.